Hey harmonizers, welcome to this video of King getting to do his first obstacle show. So here we are heading into the ring for our first round, and we entered in the green horse class, and I decided to go au concours, which means that you're not judged and we're just getting the opportunity to ride the course. This was a show where the intent is to go faster, and then you would get bonus points or get a higher score in any event. And I thought, well, there's no point doing that for King. He's not at a place where we're going to try to go fast. And by going au concours, it meant that I could do the class twice. So we're actually going to see me do this obstacle round 2 times and not back to back. So it was really great because I got to go in and do this course, and then I got to go back in and do it again, essentially after getting a break in between. Now, as you guys can see, we are doing a different course than what Newton was doing, and that's because Newton did the youth division with Sarah and Natalie, and I'm doing a different class. So we did our tunnel, we did our little box, and the tunnel he hadn't done before, and now we're going to do the back through, which we also had not practiced before. We only had a few minutes to do some obstacles when we got there, since we got there a little bit late. Traffic was not as good as we thought it was going to be, and so that was hard for him. He's being a little bit like stressed, so the way King kind of shows that is he gets a little head tossy, and it's hard for him to do things like back up. And that's true for any horse. If they're feeling kind of stressed or anxious, doing things where they have to really think about their feet is really hard for them. So he did the backup, and then I just asked him to do it again there to end on a little bit of a better note there. And because we're doing everything au concours, it allows me the opportunity to just take things a little bit slower. And if I feel like I want to do something to better school my horse, then I can, while being reasonably respectful of the time of the judge and everybody else. I don't want to try to do a 10-minute round and still have to respect the 30-second rule. This was actually my first time roping off a King. I had never done that off of him, so I was really happy that he stood really still. He wasn't upset by the rope at all, and that's not something that we practiced. And then I didn't catch the cow, so I may as well just get my rope back together rather than having to get it later. And he stood really quietly for all of that. I don't think he's ever seen a fake cow like that either, so that was all new for him, which is pretty exciting. And then I am trotting little bits here and there where I felt like I could. And this obstacle is intended to trot the poles going around. So it's literally just 4 poles on the ground. And you trot the circle of the 4 poles and turn around and trot the 4 poles the other way, which sounds easy, but can actually be a pretty challenging obstacle for horses, because when they're on a really tight circle like that, coordinating their feet and everything can just be a little bit tricky. So he tried really hard there, ended up stepping on one of the poles, but overall did really well. And that wasn't one that we've practiced either, which is what I love about these obstacle shows, is you never really know what you're going to get asked to do, and the sky's the limit. There are so many different obstacles you can get asked to try. Here is going into the pulley obstacle. So I came in, grabbed a piece of rope, and then I'm side passed King away to pull the bucket up because it's on a pulley, and then I am side passing towards to let the ball or bucket or whatever it is fall back down. So that's kind of a fun obstacle to try. The object is moving. You can see the green bucket there on the ground is what was going up and down. Then we go into the brush, and the pulley obstacle is one that we haven't practiced either, so that was all new for him, and he handled that really well. Mattresses, he's done a mattress when we were in Vermont. They had one there, so he crosses over that, no problem at all, no big deal. Then we come around, and there were a couple obstacles that I wasn't sure how he was going to be at, and one is this little water box. Water is something that we haven't really had the opportunity to practice yet. He's been going through boxes, and there was a water box when we were at the obstacle park in Uxbridge that we did the schooling at. So he did do his first water box there. And then now this is his second water box, which he ends up going through there, which is fantastic. That was one that we did do during the warm-up practice the very small amount of time that we had. And again, because we didn't have a lot of time to do it, we kind of watched Newton go through it, and Newton did it, and then King did it. I was like, okay, we really don't have time to use a lot of patience here. And normally I would love to do it him just on his own, but that might take 20 minutes, might take 30 minutes. I don't really know how long it would take. So we ended up following Newton, which is not my preferred way to train an obstacle, but I was happy to see that that worked for him. And then this rope gate here, he does gates really well when we're at schooling places. And for him to be a little bit head tossing, a little bit fidgety, he's just showing a little bit of his nerves. So I just stop him afterwards, reassure him that all is good and that we are supposed to stop and be patient. And then we head off to our next obstacle. Always trying to reassure the horse that slowing down and thinking is a good thing. And then here going over the bridge combo, a little bit of a scramble going through the water box piece in the middle, but not bad. A little bit of a rush there. Coming over our plank tarp, which he does really nicely. And then this one's kind of a fun obstacle because we have to dismount and have our horse ground tie while we fire or use this fishing rod. It's like a magnetic fishing rod to catch a little fish, which I did really quickly, which was nice. And then get your horse and lead them across the finish line, which I got him to do at trot with me there, which was really nice. So overall, I thought he did really well on his first round. Had that been our only round that we could have done, I think I would have been happy with that because he did everything, but he was a little bit head tossy, which means he's a little bit stressed. And so this is now our second round. And so you get to see the difference heading into that second round. He's already walking into the ring a lot more calm and confidently. He's feeling, to me, more relaxed, more at ease with everything going on. And I'm pretty excited anyways to get into our next course. And so the goal for me heading into the second course is to try to get things a little smoother, hopefully see him be more relaxed and more responsive to my cues. And that we'll be able to trot a little bit more of the course as well, because I wanted to test that energy piece as well. Could he have some emotional control with that energy? So we're already seeing him looking a lot smoother. Here we're doing the forehand turn, a little bit of a head toss there, so that's a little bit of stress. Overall, I think that was smoother than what we saw in the last round. Now coming into the backup, which I know is a little bit hidden by the tree there, but you can still kind of get the gist of what's going on. A nice pause there, smoother going into the backup. We got a little bit kind of over one of the poles, but overall a lot smoother going through that. Over to our roping obstacle, which he did really well last time. And then here just using a little bit more of his button. So you can see I side passed into position because I was feeling like I had more of his brain. I talk about sometimes how when we travel with horses, you don't have full brain power. You start off with maybe 10% brain power. And then as your horse gets more confident, they spend more time off site. Usually that brain power goes up and up and up until eventually, because you've been enough places and your horse has had an opportunity to relax, you'll end up having 100% brain power, which is just recognizing the fact that when we're anxious, whether it's a human or a horse, you are not able to perform at your best. You're not firing on all cylinders. You can't think straight. It's not the same as being at home. And that happens with our horses. So here going into our little trot circle, this time maintaining our trot through that change of direction, trying really hard not to step over all of our poles as best we can. And that went, pretty well. He's trying, he's trotting, and trotting over to our other obstacle where we're going to do the pulley obstacle, which he did really well the first time. And so again, we're going to do a little side pass here, this time with the object on our right side. And you can see the bucket going up. See, as he side passes away, you can see the bucket going up, and that's because I'm holding the rope. And so then as we side pass towards the object again, it goes back down because it's a pulley rope. And that's a pretty easy obstacle to make at home and is a really fun, challenging one to test the horses. Going through the brush, which is also a pretty easy obstacle if you have trees in your area. Just get some scrap brushes. Over the mattress, which is a pretty challenging obstacle, I think. And he did that really well. He's really confident with those mattresses. And now into our little water box, which you can see he sniffs. He's like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. And then goes through it really nicely. So I'm really happy with how much more confident he's getting with those water boxes. Hasn't had a lot of opportunity to try water boxes. And that's just already looking amazing, which I'm feeling really awesome about because this particular show was in July. And we still have 2 months before the Thoroughbred makeover. And as we get closer to the makeover, I'll be starting to take him out to a lot more shows. This was a great opportunity for me to see, how does he perform in the ring? How much time does he take before he settles? Because that lets me know, okay, how many shows are we going to have to do to build him up to Kentucky to be confident? With Alicia, for example, if you go back to her videos, she turned into a dragon at her first show of the season. So she needed several opportunities to get her to a place where she was confident going to Kentucky. King is not going to need as many experiences. He's already doing really well there over the plank and everything, and it's all looking super relaxed and awesome. So overall, I think you can really get a feel for the difference between the first one and the second round, and it was nice to have that opportunity to go into the ring twice. You can see he's standing really nicely for that ground tie here, and for whatever reason this time I struggled with the little magnet fish, which just meant that King got to practice ground tying a little longer, and I think he did really, really awesome with that. So I'm over the moon excited for how he's doing. We'll be doing another obstacle show in August, and then stay tuned for some more travels coming up in the future. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed watching King.